Motorcycle Adventure Dirt Bike TV, supported proudly by Adventure Spec in the UK, Rally Raid Products, Giant Loop in the United States, Adventure Moto in Australia, Pirelli Tyres, Motul Oils, RK Chains and Australian Adventure Bike magazine.
It's amazing when you slow down what you actually see. Goodness gracious, what a lesson I've learnt in my latter part of my motorcycling career. Slow down, see more.
A couple of weeks ago, we caught up with extreme round-the-world motorcycle adventurer Nick Sanders as he reignited his circumnavigation of the world on his Yamaha Tenere 700 after a 2-year delay due to COVID. It's now a couple of weeks later and Nick has crossed our vast Australian continent. I caught up with him in Perth a couple of days before he leaves for the next leg of his journey, India, and the magnificent Himalayan mountain range.
Oh, you're kidding me. I'm walking through the jungles of Subiaco, and who do I see? Nick Sanders in Perth. How you going, mate?
Hello, Dave. How are you? Yeah, I'm in Perth now.
It's amazing we've bumped into each other again. I mean, that's a long distance between drinks.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, it's nice to see you at, where was it? Where was it? Cootamundra?
Cootamundra?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no.
So you've done a bit of travelling since then. So what's that? That's about...
No idea. 4,000 miles, is it? Possibly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, zipped up the Flinders, up the Brachina Gorge.
Brachina Gorge,
Brachina Gorge, yeah, that's right. Up to William Creek.
Yep.
The Udanata track.
Yep.
And over to Cooper Pedy. I smashed my computer because I'm an idiot. So I had to dash down to Adelaide to Apple Store and get another one. So there we go. That really changed my direction, to be honest, Dave. I was going to go up north, up to Alice and on towards wherever, Catherine, and around the northwest and west coast. But I came back down to Adelaide and I was running out of time, so I thought I'd just head west over the Nullarbor.
Yeah.
Which I like anyway. You know, it's great. The roadhouses, it's real kind of different kind of Australia.
Yes.
You're not finding any posh flat whites on the Nullarbor, I can tell you that.
But having said that, Nick, you've had a super sample of Australia, haven't you?
It's been great. With Australia and Australians, it's what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
You know, they are really great people. Completely different to Americans. The only comparison is the fact that you both live on a big continent. And that's where the comparison ends. I get on with Aussies really well. They're straightforward. You know, they love the kind of stuff that I do, adventure. Look, they're settlers. They're people who've had adventures all their lives, just living here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get on very well.
So after we left you, you headed down to Tasmania.
Tasmania was great. Everybody said the roads were fabulous, and they certainly were.
Yeah.
I loved Tassie. I loved it. I think one of the highlights actually was the Mona, the Museum of Old and was it Old and New Art, Mona. Right. And that was David Walsh's museum, which is extraordinary. I've never seen a museum like it. It's absolutely a must-see in Hobart. You know, at the end of the day, when you're travelling around the world, it's not always just about the bike. It's about the things you see and the things you learn and how you acculturise. And I think that was a highlight, absolutely. But Tassie itself was quite distinctly different to Australia mainland. Definitely worth a visit.
Yeah, and the other one that interests me, I mean, I gave it a big rap for you, and there's two ways of saying it, Brachina Gorge or Brachina Gorge. What did you think of that area?
Great. I was looking for the big gorge. It's not a big gorge. It's kind of small, but it's beautifully formed. 560 million year old limestone rock. Yeah. I love that juxtaposition of me riding, you know, my metallic mule through it. And that's what I was trying to create, that feeling when I was filming in the gorge. Yeah, it's lovely. It's very pretty. Staying at I think actually my highlight so far wasn't so much the gorge, but it was the Udanata track, and it was William Creek.
Yes.
You're very much touching the outback there, and you're touching the kind of the dirt and a bit of soft stuff. And I'm not the best exponent of soft stuff at all. People are much more capable of riding off-road than I am, but nevertheless, I did it okay. I didn't fall off. But it's when you meet the outback characters there. They're very different.
Yes.
They're a special character all of themselves.
Yes.
And I made a lot of friends. It was fabulous.
Yeah. So you went. So you got to William Creek, and then you went across to Cooper Pedy, is that right?
Well, I took the Udanata over to Cooper Pedy, absolutely.
That's right.
But very interesting was this. I left my TomTom sat-nav in Mari,
Murray, yeah.
And I got to William Creek, realised I'd lost it, thought it had been stolen or whatever, misplaced. And as soon as I got into William Creek Roadhouse and I was wondering what to do, a guy turned up who was a pilot.
Yes.
And he says, oh, don't worry, I'll fly you back to get it.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not, absolutely. I told the bloke Lyle at Mari to give the guys at William Creek Roadhouse a ring if they found it. He found it, he rang, and the pilot turned up, and we flew back to get it. And he let me fly the plane. So that was fun. And I've got a film of it.
You are kidding me.
Yes, I've got a film of that, so we'll add that to the big film.
Oh, that is a great yarn, Nick. That is a great yarn. And so you're flying out of William Creek. You would have had a good look at Lake Eyre and the colours.
Absolutely. I talked to the people there about Donald Campbell.
Yes.
And the whole thing that happened in the early 60s. And again, that's going to form part of my film because I took some photographs of the press clippings. We'll find some archive material of it actually happening.
Wow.
So I'm always constantly looking for stuff like that, you know, idiosyncratic stuff, historical stuff that's important to the area.
You know, I keep getting my head around the business that you lose your tom-tom. That would have to be close to a world first, wouldn't it? That a pilot says, I'll just fly you back over there. It's okay, mate. I'll just fly you back over.
It could only happen in Australia. I literally walked into William Creek and there he just suddenly turned up and that was it.
Oh,
so
that's hilarious.
We jumped in the plane within 20 minutes and that was it. 45
what a
minutes
yarn.
back. Yeah, it's great.
Now, I've never ridden across the Nullarbor. Never done that bit. So tell me a bit as a newcomer to a place I don't know. What was the Nullarbor like?
The Nullarbor is, I've done it a few times actually. You get into a mindset. It's a long distance. Like I said, you don't get any posh flat whites over there. It's very rough and ready and rustic. Having said that, there are some quite charming hotels. In Penong was a lovely hotel, the Penong Hotel. You know, really, really decent places. Oh, I mean, blimey. I mean, you really got to get into your own headspace when you're riding such vast distances when there isn't always a lot to see. I mean, there's no trees, Nullarbor, no trees. And I think that's the whole beauty about riding a motorbike and riding a motorbike in such a vast continent. You have to deal with yourself. All motorcyclists know that. That's why we ride bikes. And that's what I find fascinating about crossing, you know, all the way across Australia, you know. Thoughts and I'm thinking, life and all the rest of it.
Well, you've done that a few times and I haven't done that once yet. So, you're in Perth. I've just caught up with you. It's amazing that we caught up and you're just about to get some new tyres on your bike and then you load it up and where are you headed next?
Well, I'll get tyres. I'm waiting I've got to have an interview to get an Indian visa on Friday. I'll get the visa presumably. I'll put the bike on a plane, fly out to Delhi. And then I'm there for about 2 weeks and I'm going to go up to Darjeeling. I'll ride the length of the Himalayas. I want to go via Kathmandu.
Oh, great.
Which is great, Durbar Square. And then pop out the other end. I might go up to Leh, which is one of the highest roads in the world. And then over to Rajasthan, across the Thar Desert, and then back to Delhi. So it's a little short run really, just 2 weeks. And then it's the same old problem really. Then it takes a week to ship the bike somewhere else. I wish I had a year to do it. That's when it makes it kind of makes it more sense really. But I'm on a time frame. You know, we're on a budget. We've got to get this Tenere 700 around the world, and promote it, and you know, and then I'll go on to the Middle East. We'll fly Delhi, Dubai, and then Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and I'm getting the boat from Haifa over to Greece. Then the last 3 or 4 days I'll ride home across Europe.
Yeah, so the back end of the plan is still pretty much the same. Now, I better talk about the bike. The bike's sitting there beside you longingly. It's kept very quiet. Clearly, you haven't had any problems.
Well, the thing is, you know, these bikes are kind of boringly competent.
Yes.
You know, they are not going to break down. There's nothing to say about it. The fact that it functions beautifully.
Yeah.
It's an impeccable machine. And it's simple in its design. It's not got too many electronics. It's got this lovely parallel twin, and you can sometimes hear the blat, and it's reminiscent of the old XT660, which is part of its, you know, its heritage and its lineage. Yeah, I love it. I love it. What is there not to like about this bike?
No, I love the engine on it. It's so sweet and just pulls effortlessly from low down, and you just cruise along 100, 120 easy.
Can't go wrong, Dave. And I tested the engine out when it came out in the MT-07 early on, and I rode across to Mongolia. So I've been using this engine for quite a few years now.
Yeah. Well, Nick Sanders, so good to see you again. That yarn about the tom-tom will stick with me forever. That is so funny.
Yeah, it's great. So we got a film of that. So, like, as you know, we're making a film for Mad TV. I'm not sure when it's going to be ready, towards the end of summer.
Yeah.
And we'll add all of these things in it, and then we're going to get a big audience and do a big Q&A.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it, Dave, enormously.
Well, Nick, we wish you well. It was just serendipity that we managed to see each other twice at the extreme ends of our continent. But it's wonderful to have done that. And yeah, so this will be up on Mad TV, and we look forward to watching your exploits in the next couple of months.
And finally, like I said, let's just go onto Instagram, watch me on
Yeah.
Nick Sanders Official on Instagram, and you can watch the updates, and it's going to be a pleasure. Thank you.